everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jen. I do lots of fun stuff around here, whether it be Disney stuff, travel stuff, we do food, we do life vlogs, things like that. We got lots going on, so I'm happy to see that you're here. Today, we are going to be running through and ranking or continuing my ranking series of rating the top 10 attractions at each theme park at Walt Disney World. I've already covered Epcot, so if you haven't checked that out already, make sure you do. I will leave a link down below. As you can see by the title of this video, today we are going to be covering Hollywood Studios. Let's do this. Hollywood Studios has really amped it up recently since they finished and opened Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. It has been a phenomenal overhaul and it had changed a lot since I had been there the last time in 2013. If you don't know already, we went back to Walt Disney World in December of 2022 and had an awesome time. I vlogged the whole thing as well. If you haven't checked out the vlogs, make sure you do. I will also leave those linked down below as well, so you can check those out if you want to see how our trip went. So let's get started with Hollywood Studios. I've got the guide map here, so if you wanted to follow along at home, you can always Google or find these on the internet. They are up there and you can see all the attractions on there on this lovely pretty map. So many things to look at on the map. And yeah, we're just going to be going through each attraction. So the attractions that will appear on my list are attractions that I have personally been on or experienced. I can't obviously rate an attraction that I haven't been on. So just because maybe one of your favorite attractions isn't on my list doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a great ride. It just means that unfortunately I haven't been able to get on it yet. Coming in at number 10, we have Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. This experience or this attraction has been at this park for as long as I can remember. I remember going to see it as a kid and loving it. I have always liked the Indiana Jones movies. I think they incorporate the story and the different aspects of the movies in this show. It's a huge theater that you go into, lots and lots of seating. It is open air. This show kind of harkens back to the MGM studio days when the park was a little bit more focused on the movie making aspects and the way movies were made and the behind the scenes stuff and that sort of thing. I still really like that concept, and that's why I really like going to see this show still. It also brings back some nostalgia, and again, I really like the movies, but the acting is really well done. They always get a lot of amazing stunt people in there, and so it works like you're going in and you're watching partly a show and then partly behind the scenes as well. The story hasn't really changed that much over the years, so it's kind of if you've seen it recently, you could probably skip it again. But it is definitely something worth checking out with the special effects and the music and the choreography. It's really, really cool to see. So we really enjoy going to see it, and that is why it's at our number 10. I definitely would say check it out if you can, but hey, if you miss it, it's no big deal. Coming in at number 9 would be Star Tours. So Star Tours is another simulator ride. I am not a huge fan of simulator rides only because of, the motion and the motion sickness aspect of it. This currently is a 3D experience as well, so your mileage may vary depending on the level of 3D experience that you get. I know sometimes if you have glasses or you wear glasses and you have to put the 3D glasses on top of your glasses, it can get a little distorted, and sometimes the 3D doesn't always come out that well. And I know too with Star Tours, they have incorporated a lot more of the newer movies to make it more up to date and, relevant. I am more of a fan of the older movies, or I guess the original ones. This is another ride where the queue is amazingly themed, so if you are stuck in long lines, at least you won't be bored. There is so much to look at. The queue is very, very detailed. You'll see lots of well-known characters in this, also mixed in with some of the newer ones as well. It's been part of Hollywood Studios since it opened in 1987, so it's been there quite a long time. I don't normally gravitate towards this ride recently with all the newer other Star Wars Galaxy's Edge stuff that has come up, but if you are hard up for a Star Wars experience and all the other Star Wars rides have a longer waits, I would definitely check this one out. Coming in at number 8, Tower of Terror. All right, I have this ride to me, like I hate this ride because I have a fear of, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you out there can relate to having a fear of an elevator falling and like, you know, you're just like falling to your death basically. So, and I hate the sensation of weightlessness. Like I hate being dropped and like sudden drops and stuff in rides and that. I just like, and for this one, for it to be totally random each time you're on it, like there's no rhyme or reason of when you'll be dropped. You don't know when it's gonna happen. But it's just a ride that I loathe to go on. I will go on it if I have to, like say if I'm with a group of people and they really want to go on, or like it's somebody's first time and they want me to go with them, fine, I will go. Granted, it is, again, really well themed to the Twilight Zone. The level of detail in the queue and in the mansion in there, it is second to none. It really gets you into the creepy, eerie feeling and shows you the story of what's going on. The other thing that's great about Tower of Terror is the on-ride photo. Some of those on-ride photos are hilarious. I know I've gotten some pretty good ones over the years of just being absolutely petrified. You want a thrill ride? Definitely check out Tower of Terror. It is lower on my list because I just don't like the sudden drops. I'm not a huge fan of like the Twilight Zone or anything like that. But if you want, again, if you want a thrill, it's something you definitely want to get on. And I think that's all I got to say about that one. Number 7. Walt Disney Presents. Walt Disney Presents takes you through like a multimedia gallery, lots of artifacts and stuff of basically Walt Disney through the years, right up into the point where he unfortunately passed away, right before Walt Disney World was opened. And it goes through the story, and then it goes beyond that. It'll go into, you know, after Walt Disney World opened, the different parks, and then it'll go into, you know, future, what's upcoming, what's new, what's, you know, in the works for the Walt Disney Company. And I like it because it really harks back to Walt Disney and all he has done for the company, where he built it from the ground, all the hard work he's put into it. But I like the fact that there is still some history there. You can go in, you can read through all the artifacts and learn about how some of the movies were made. And it's a really nice experience if you are in between rides, or if you need a break in air conditioning, or even somewhere just to sit down. If you are a hardcore Disney fan, want to know the history and more about, you know, or like want to know more about Walt Disney himself, this is definitely a good attraction to check out. And it's always something that I like to look at every time I go to the park. Number 6, I have Muppet Vision 3D. I've always liked the Muppets. I grew up watching the Muppet Show. I like the Muppet Christmas Carol. You know, I just like that whole like Jim Henson world. I think he created something that was absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, he did actually pass away before the attraction even opened, and it was also one of the last projects that he got to work on before he died. It's considered a 3D experience, maybe a little bit of a 4D experience if you like to say. There are some surprises in there that do make it the 4D experience, which I won't ruin, but it is a fun little attraction where you go in, you sit down in a theater, and then you're watching a show in front of you in 3D. So I'm thinking that it's a bit higher up on my list because I am a Muppets fan and you don't have to wait very long for it, and it's kind of a special attraction since it was one of the last things Jim Henson got to work on. Number 5. Okay, this is a personal favorite of mine, and it's come down a little bit on the list because of other things that have opened over the years at Hollywood Studios, but my number 5, Toy Story Mania. When this first came out, I know there was absolutely pandemonium. People loved this ride. So basically you go on this ride vehicle and you are situated with a little like gun in front of you that you just pull this little string, and it's a 3D experience. So you're going from basically like room to room and you're shooting at stuff. You're basically pulling the string on the gun, aiming, and then on the screen you will see that you're shooting certain things at different targets. It is so much fun. Oh my god, I love this ride so much. At the end of the ride, you will see what your score is, and everybody will have, you know, like top score of the day or like top score in the vehicle that you're in. So it's really great to get on and like try to beat everybody's score. So if you're like a really competitive person or really like video games, this is definitely a really fun ride. And another thing too is it really builds up your arm strength, because every time I get off this ride, my arm is killing me. But it's a lot of fun. Check it out. Okay, number 4, we have a Slinky Dog Dash. It's so popular right now. If you can get a lightning lane, get a lightning lane. You have to wake up, right at 7 a.m. to get it because it's just so popular at the moment. And if you don't get a lightning lane, the lines can get really long. It's definitely worth it. It is so, again, well themed. It's all themed to Toy Story. It's like a little coaster. I'd say it's, a little bit, it's kind of like an amped up version of Barnstormer or Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, kind of a similar aspect to that. As far as like speed goes, it's very smooth with this new track and everything. It actually goes at a reasonable speed. I was kind of surprised at how like quickly it goes, and you do go up some like high turns and like little hills and everything. It's not too intense. I would be wary with some of the smaller children, depending on, how many coasters they've been on, because this one felt like a little bit more intense to me. But I was seeing lots of kids go on it and they were like having a great time. So if it is a priority for you, make sure you get a lightning lane so you won't be disappointed. Getting into the top 3 now. In 3rd place, we have Fantasmic. Fantasmic has been such a great show ever since it started there. It has been at the park for a very long time. It's such a different experience, and it's not quite like a fireworks show. It's kind of like almost like a Broadway mixed with fireworks. If you want to see characters, this is a great show to see. You will see so many different Disney characters that you may haven't seen out in the parks for a long time. Also, Sorcerer Mickey makes an appearance. He's in there, so if you like Sorcerer Mickey, you have to see this show. And the water projections and everything is really cool to see. It's in a huge theater, and it definitely gets packed pretty quickly. It's a great show, and it definitely brings back all the feels of watching, Disney movies as we were little, seeing all the characters, then they're like singing and dancing and lots of puppetry going on. It's a great way to end off your Hollywood Studios day. Disney has done a great job with this one. I would say not to miss this. It is number 3 for a reason. Coming in at number 2, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This was another new attraction that we just got to try on our most recent trip. I thought it was adorable. Now, it has replaced the Great Movie Ride that was there for a long time. Mickey and Minnie's uses the trackless system again. You're going from scene to scene, and the music and the colors and the animation, it is just so neat to see, and it's such a lighthearted experience, and it is great for all ages. It's another great ride to get you in some air conditioning, out of the sun, and off your feet for a little bit and being so entertained. It is a great little ride to go on, and honestly, you will have that music stuck in your head for probably rest of the day. And first place goes to Rise of the Resistance. This ride was, oh my god, like mind blown. Since it's been out, which was like a few years, I had avoided all spoilers. I didn't watch any, videos on YouTube, nothing about like the on the ride experience. I had heard little things here or there because, I wanted to look in, like, is there any like motion sickness problems or anything like that. I'm not like prone to motion sickness, but I don't like to be thrown around a lot or go upside down or something. Like, obviously I know Rise of the Resistance you wouldn't, but or if you're in like a simulator situation. The downside to this ride is that there's so many different aspects and components of the ride that it will easily break down. Once you have a lot of components that are involved in a ride, it can quickly go down and things can fall apart very quickly. The whole immersiveness of this ride is just so well done. The cast members are so into it. They play along. The kids really get into it. It is so realistic. The theming is so well done, and like the animatronics and the scenes you go through. It's just mind blowing. It's incredible the amount of detail that went into this ride. And of course, if you're a Star Wars fan, absolutely 100% you need to check this ride out. Do not miss it. It is, oh my gosh, it is just so good. I have nothing but good things to say about it. I would ride this ride again and again. It's number 1 for like detail, experience, the thrill, accessibility, all that stuff. It is just so good. check it out if you are a Star Wars fan. Now, there are some rides in Hollywood Studios that did recently open, and unfortunately we did not, or I have not been able to get on them as of yet. So those rides that are missing on my list that I wish I could have reviewed or ranked at this time was Smuggler's Run is a newer attraction, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. The Rock and Roller Coaster I probably will never go on because that is a roller coaster in the dark that is going upside down. Definitely not something I want to subject myself to. I also have unfortunately not been able to get on Alien Swirling Saucers. That was another Toy Story themed ride. It looked so cute, and it's kind of like, you know, a little teacup. It reminds me of like the teacups where you're like kind of moving around, getting flung around a little, but it looked so cute and I really wanted to go on it, but unfortunately I have not got on it yet. So I can't unfortunately give my rank it anywhere at this point. So hopefully I get back to the park soon and then I can maybe rejig my list again. So there you have it. There's my top 10 attractions at Hollywood Studios. If you did find this video useful and enjoyable, please give it a thumbs up. And also make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future Disney content to come. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of my list. I would love to know what your #1 attraction is at Hollywood Studios. And until next time, take care of yourselves wherever you are. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!